So you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're taking all the supplements, and you still feel tired, foggy, or anxious. I see this over and over. And the missing piece is one gene that changes how your body processes nutrition. In this video, you'll learn that we are all mutants, every one of us, and that the common MTHFR variant changes the way you process certain nutrients. And some simple steps you can take to work with your body instead of fighting against it. I'm Dr. Amy Newsel, and I'm obsessed with MTHFR because I have it. Check out my book, MTHFR Easy, Get Healthy for Life, on Amazon. MTHFR is extremely common. Mutations are the normal, right? This is the rule, not the exception. And most people don't even know that they have it. In studies, they're showing that 50 to 60% of the US population carries at least one MTHFR variant, meaning this isn't like a rare genetic fluke. It's the normal, right? This is the standard. But because routine testing does not include it, most people never realize that their fatigue, their brain fog, their fertility struggles, their hormone imbalance could be related to this one thing. Outside of MTHFR, there are roughly 10,000 genes that can have something called a single nucleotide polymorphism, which is like a spelling mistake. It's a basic spelling mistake. So literally every human on the planet has spelling mistakes. I would put money on there not being one human in whom every gene is the wild type, right? Or the normal variant. Because what's the probability of that? It's unlikely to happen. Because these mutations, these little spelling mistakes, are passed down from our ancestors for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, hundreds and hundreds of generations. Doctors only test MTHFR, which is just one of these mutations, but doctors only test this in very specific circumstances and not in every case, right? Those circumstances are usually abnormal clotting, repeat miscarriages, and only sometimes they test for this, and treatment-resistant mental illness. And again, only sometimes they test for this. Even in those circumstances, lots of doctors just won't bother with the MTHFR testing because they don't have a great solution, right? They don't have a good piece of advice to really offer their clients about what to do about it. It's also, I've seen it, more often than I care to admit, that even if the doctors do test, they don't actually talk about the results with their patients. So patients will uncover this themselves in years old blood work and be like, what is this? Wait a minute, I have this thing and nobody even mentioned it. Or perhaps they forgot that somebody mentioned it, but it was never made important or significant. In good news, if you have never tested your genes or you don't think your doctor has ever tested your genes, there is a simple quiz you can take that will help you. It won't tell you what your genes are, but it can give you a good idea of probability that you have an MTHFR mutation or methylation dysfunction, which is the big consequence of MTHFR. You can take that on the website tohealthwiththat.com in the free tools section. Common symptoms of MTHFR that may sound familiar to you: fatigue for no clear reason, or fatigue that happens suddenly, like you're exhausted. That's what happens to me. Brain fog, anxiety, difficulty sleeping, intolerance of birth control pills, poor results from antidepressants or medications for anxiety, reduced fertility, seasonal allergies are very common in the MTHFR community, abnormal blood clotting, and estrogen dominance. And all of these have a direct biochemical link with the MTHFR gene. MTHFR is also associated with many conditions, including cardiovascular disease, anxiety, depression, OCD traits or tendencies, perfectionism, sleep disorders, unusual conditions like POTS or MCAS, breast implant illness, difficulty getting pregnant or difficult pregnancies, neural tube defects, fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases or traits, and Alzheimer's dementia. So if you see these things throughout your family tree, it's time to suspect that MTHFR may be a player, right? Especially if you see like 4, 5, 6 of them in your family tree. Now, MTHFR can seem really daunting, and the internet is full of conflicting advice and all of these strategies that are very specific and very supplement heavy. So, if you need help, reach out. There's a link in the video description. And this is where it starts to get really important, because if you have this gene and don't know it, your body might be starving for particular nutrients or activated compounds, even though you're doing all the right things. You're eating a great diet, you're taking supplements. It's just your body can't do stuff with them. The MTHFR gene changes how you process certain B vitamins, and because of that, it changes how you move carbons around your body, which is a really key feature, right? It's a really key function that we do in every system. So the MTHFR gene makes an enzyme that helps you activate folate, turning it into methylfolate or L5-MTHF. This is the form your cells can actually use to help you build new cells, make DNA, repair DNA, all sorts of things. Natural folate and folinic acid are both MTHFR safe forms that need to go through the MTHFR enzyme to make the active folate. Sadly, folic acid, which is the synthetic crystalline form and the form that's most commonly used in food fortification, in supplements, in vitamins, in all the things, actually makes the MTHFR enzyme function worse, right? It makes it slower, which is the opposite of what you want to do. So it's never recommended for anybody with MTHFR to take folic acid, even though that is likely what your MD will suggest if they actually do test for an MTHFR mutation. If the MTHFR gene isn't working efficiently, right, which it isn't if you have a polymorphism, you can eat healthy foods, you can take multivitamins, and still end up functionally deficient, right? Because even if there's folate floating around, your body can't actually activate it effectively or quickly enough to keep up with your body's demand. This affects everything from energy to mood to cardiovascular health to neurotransmitter formation to pregnancy outcomes, right? Everything, every system in your body is affected here. MTHFR also sits at a really pivotal place in your biochemistry, which means it affects literally every system you have, right? From neurotransmitter formation in your brain to, digestive status in your gut, to the way your connective tissue functions and operates, to fertility measures, to hormone balance, everything, every system. Because it's so pivotal, I always suspect MTHFR when people come and see me and they have this grocery bag of complaints, right? And none of them go together. It's not like, oh, I have this condition and these problems are linked to it. It's like, well, I have hormone symptoms and mood symptoms and sleep symptoms and energy symptoms and stress symptoms and thyroid symptoms and gut symptoms and whatever. What is it? Right? I think it's your genes. One way to picture this is it's like if your house keeps having these random cracks that pop up everywhere, right? So a crack develops in your kitchen ceiling, and then the countertop gets a little bit crooked, and then in the bathroom, the pipes sort of bend and they don't connect properly, or they don't drain properly, or whatever. Okay, all of those things are problems, for sure, right? Suddenly the roof is tilted, or the whatever. There's all these issues. But the problems themselves, those little issues, are just symptoms of a much larger problem, which is that your foundation is sinking, or whatever, right? MTHFR is exactly like that. It's the foundation of your house. And so all of these symptoms are popping up everywhere, right? Symptom, 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 symptom. But the symptoms aren't actually the problem. Even though you want them fixed, they're not actually the problem. It's that the foundation isn't functioning, right? So we need to actually back up, work on that foundation, and then the symptoms will start to clear, and anything that doesn't clear you can work on. So if this gene slows down how your body activates folate, how it processes B12, how it uses other B vitamins, what can you actually do about it? right? This is your genes. It's written already. We can't change them. The answer isn't complicated. It's about working with your biology instead of against it. Once you know or strongly suspect your MTHFR status, you can work with your genetics instead of fighting against them, right? And in good news, if you can't test your genes right now, or if you don't want to for other reasons, you can make changes to support your MTHFR before you're 100% sure about your genetic profile. That is completely healthy because they're healthy changes anyway. First thing you need to do, step 1, go through your supplements and ditch anything with folic acid in it, right? We'll find replacements, but ditch anything with folic acid in it. Folic acid is the synthetic crystalline form of folate, and it actually makes the MTHFR enzyme slower than it would be otherwise, whether you have healthy MTHFR genes or whether you have gene variances. This is true. Supplements are not the only place you get folic acid. Check your prescription medications and talk with your doctor about anything that needs to be replaced. Lots of birth control pills, anticoagulants, iron supplements, lots of things, right? Or iron replacements that your doctor will prescribe have folic acid in them. So talk to your doctor about a replacement. Also, check your protein powder, meal replacement shakes or bars, energy drinks, energy supplements, all of the things, right? Next thing to do is to actually look in your pantry. So in North America, wheat flour, unless it's 100% whole wheat, has to be fortified with a particular number of nutrients, and folic acid is one of them, which means bread, pasta, pastries, crackers, cookies, all of those things have folic acid in them, and it is actually crucial to get that out of there, right? There are plenty of folate-free alternatives. If you look at organic, if you look at 100% whole wheat, if you look at wheat alternatives, you can find them. But check your nutritional labels. So the next thing to do is choose MTHFR safe forms of folate. One of those is the folate that naturally occurs in foods. It still has to go through your MTHFR enzyme, but it doesn't slow it down, right? So this is like dark green leafy vegetables, it's citrus fruits, it's tropical fruits, it's beans and pulses. Beans and pulses are a great source. It's also like liver, eggs, things like that. Then folinic acid, which is a supplement form, is also safe. The other thing you can do is supplement with the active form, which is methylfolate. But be careful, because this one is so active already that for some people it makes them feel speedy or like over caffeinated, right? So if that's you, switch to one of the other forms, folinic acid and natural folate from food sources. That L-methyl tetrahydrofolate, which is the active form, is technically the best form for MTHFR folks, but since some of us don't tolerate it, it's completely fine to start with other forms. And I definitely recommend everybody start with diet first. That is your key foundation. That is how your body wants to get nutrition. So work with your body, work with your genes. The other thing is, B vitamins always work as a group. They work together, right? It's the B vitamin family. There are no C vitamins or D vitamins or A vitamins, but there are B vitamins because they are interrelated, and biochemically they're interrelated as well. We need the full spectrum of Bs, not just one B. So it is important to get a moderate background dose of the other B vitamins while you're doing this. Now, you can get lots of B vitamins from food, but I also recommend just a low dose multivitamin that has a good source of the other Bs, right? Low dose multi, you can find multis that do have the active form of folate or folinic acid, right? Instead of the folic acid, because that multi cannot contain folic acid. One of my favorites, if you like gummy multis, is Smarty Pants. They're great. They're so good. That's what I give my daughter. They're really nice and they're low dose. And you can change the dose just based on how many gummies you take. Other really good ones, Dr. Amy Yasko, her company makes a really nice one. I cannot remember the name of the company anymore, whatever. But that's a really nice vitamin as well. And again, low dose is what we're looking for. I do not want 2,000% of whatever vitamin. I do not want 4,000% or 10,000%. I want just like 100% is good, right? 100% is what we need. So small targeted changes can make a huge difference to your mood, to your focus, to your clarity, to your energy, to your general sense of well-being, and also to your disease risk down the road, because MTHFR is linked to a number of very serious diseases that none of us want to have. So by actually addressing this now, you're helping to reduce that risk later on. At the end of the day, there's small changes that will have a huge impact on how you feel. If you need any help, there is a link in the video description. Just click it. I'd love to talk with you.